welcome back to OBF1. You're joining us here for round 12, I think it is, here at France. Obviously I wasn't here for the last Tier 2 race, and Tier 2 have had a week off. And Marcus, who joins me in the comms box today. Good English there.
Good evening, everyone. It's a big pleasure to be back again. I think I commentated on the last one round Austria, which is turning out to be a right corker of a race until I got kicked out and my game crashed.
Yeah, that was.
We'll skip over that.
That was good game.
Yeah, it was literally just. It could not have been worse timed. Just as the rain starts coming down, people started pitting for Inters. Like 6 laps to go.
Yeah, it was a shame, but it was still a good race, and sadly we didn't get to see the end.
Exactly, but I think that marks the halfway point of the calendar, doesn't it, really? So we're 11 rounds down, as you say, we're on the 12th one now, out of 22. So we're on the home stretch, if you will.
We are, and it's all coming down to the final few races, and James Ney is still leading the championship.
He is.
And he is here today, so he is looking to extend his championship lead. But Kenna, I think it was Kenna, is catching up slowly.
Yeah, he's not that far behind, is he? And to be fair, Gent Sereno and King James behind, they're only a handful of points behind Kenna themselves.
That is true. So, I mean, it's looking at the minute, don't want to put a commentator's curse on it or anything, but it's looking like it's James Ney's championship to lose currently.
Well, you say that, but it's all to play for.
It is, and it certainly is in the constructors. Not that many people pay attention to that in league racing, but it's still there.
Oh yeah, it is very close in the constructors. 222 points for Haas, 191 for Aston, 175 for Alfa Romeo. Very close. I think everyone, as you look up and down the board, everyone's within striking distance of the person above and below them. Makes it really interesting.
Yeah, and we got Truck Fireman as well racing tonight. He hasn't reserved for a while, obviously, being a fireman in the US. Doesn't really have.
Is he actually a fireman?
He is, yeah. He drives the fire truck.
I just thought it was his name.
No, he's actually a fireman.
Oh, there you go. Well, fair play to him. Got a lot of respect.
I'm not sure in which state. I'm pretty sure he probably doesn't want us to know. I mean, privacy and that. Sen has left the session.
Wow. I mean, he's got the whole qualifying and the race ahead of him. It's a bit early to quit now, lad.
He hasn't even crashed yet.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Great game.
Well, is that what he said?
No, his game crash.
Gotta love it.
Let's go.
As the countdown clock starts, we are away and waiting for the first few to join. I'll send an invite if you want.
Yeah, if you could.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because another glitch is, I think it's if you join between
Possible
quali and the
rain
race.
in the race.
Is it me or nobody going out on track?
I've had no one leave yet.
No.
I've just had a comment off Mitch said, "Let's go indeed." We do have a car going out on track now. It was a Mercedes. And Neil said possibly rain in the race. So it looks like it could be an interesting race again.
Cool. That'll spice things up a bit.
That is, so we got Kenner on an outlap. My game has gone really quiet. as yours?
I thought it was a minute, but then I jumped on board and somebody and it wasn't anymore.
Fuck. Yeah, on board it's really loud. It's just in the broadcast view, it's not that loud. I don't know, I think it'll be alright. We'll have to see. Right, let's go for... So who is the first one to be setting a lap tonight? I think it's James Ney will be the first one on a lap. Also, we got Mohamed Guna in the Ferrari as well. Another one that was a full-time Tier 2 driver, dropped down to a reserve recently. He's racing again tonight for us. He has got a qualifying ban, so he won't be allowed to set a time. Another one with a qualifying ban as well, CDM. Didn't provide footage of an incident, so he will be serving a quali ban tonight. Do you think he could do a last to first challenge?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just going to spice the grid up if there is a bit of rain. This is it's been talked about in the Tier 1 chat, but all about downforce levels. You know, if he runs low downforce, it could make him a bit of a missile in the straights. He could make a few moves, potentially.
That is possible. This track, well, I think we all know it by now, this track on this game is difficult in terms of what setup do I run, because we all know high downforce is great around here in the corners and you're going to produce some good lap times, but then you're a sitting duck on the straight.
Yeah, absolutely, especially the second straight where there's no DRS at all. In the first straight, if you can pick up DRS of the car behind, it's going to negate the difference so much, but the second straight you're going to lose quite a lot as well.
Yeah, and then you've still got to hope that you get DRS as well, so...
But then you've got, again, the counter-argument that, you know, with the high downforce, you're going to get a lot more speed travelling onto the start-finish straight. So you're going to gain at the first part of it. It's only by the latter half you may start losing out on.
That's true, and obviously you got the battery as well, that will help, but that doesn't last forever.
No, absolutely, and with high downforce, it's not going to recuperate that battery quite as much. You're going to spend less time in the braking zones because you're going to be better on the brakes, and you've got a lot more energy power needed to push against those higher wings.
Yeah, so it's I think lower downforce would be the best option, and we've got our benchmark time, and it's already been beaten by Kenner. So it was a 131.6 that James Ney set, and Kenner's just gone off and set a 131.167.
That is a very good lap by Kenner out the box. 31.1 is a very competitive lap time.
It definitely was. Now I know Kenner, if he is running his time trial setup, he's running a pretty low downforce setup.
Which makes it even more impressive that he's got such a good time, because it's I think when you run higher wings it becomes easier to set a decent quali time.
Yeah,
lower wings is harder to set a quali time.
That's true. So we got Mosh, the next one to cross the line on his first flying lap, but it is invalidated, so that time won't count. Jason as well, further back, has done the exact same thing.
Yeah, got Jen Sereno in the middle sector on a lap. He's got a Alpha Tauri that's somewhat hindering him in the middle sector there. I'm not sure who that is. Is that King James? It is King James, who has invalidated a lap.
Do we know what the penalty is for drivers not serving quali bans? Is that a race disqualification?
I cannot remember. Possibly. Who is on a quali ban?
Mohamed Guna and CDM, but currently Mohamed Guna's out on an outlap.
He's probably just doing a installation lap to get his setup. Hopefully he'll be coming back in the pits. But we'll keep an eye on him.
We'll have to keep an eye on him. It does look like he's warming his tyres up, mind. But now he's stopping, so I'm not sure what's going on.
No, he is going for a lap apparently.
Yeah, he is going for a lap. His DRS lights are off. so he is definitely going for a lap. So we'll have to talk about that later.
Absolutely.
Because I know we've had it before. I can't remember what the penalty was.
No, I can't off the top of my head, I'm going to be honest.
I'm pretty sure we disqualified them from the race.
Get the ban hammer out. You're banned. You're banned.
It was either that or it was a race ban in the next race. I can't remember.
Yeah. We've got always grinding coming up to the line to set a lap. Goes into fourth.
It's a pretty decent lap there from the Alpine driver. 132.2.
Oh, and he goes round right away. Don't know whether he was going for a second push lap there, but it didn't work out for him.
No, it's... You've got to get turn 1 and 2 right, because if you hit that curb wrong on the inside of turn 2, it can off-balance your car, and then it's quite easy to lose it coming out of there.
Yeah,
Especially if...
Always Grinding was in a league race with me last night, around Netherlands actually. And it was quite a race of attrition. Quite a lot of people had issues and that. And he actually, despite not having the pace to be in the, you know, anywhere near the top 5, because he kept it clean and on the track, he ended up finishing in 3rd. So he's on a bit of form for that. And I think, especially if the rain comes, this race could be somewhat similar. If you keep it on the track, keep it clean.
Well, let's hope it is. It could be interesting. You know, a driver that's not normally being up there could pop up at the top with the rain if it comes.
Absolutely, and everyone's got different abilities in the rain as well. Somebody who's quick in the dry might not be so quick in the wet, and vice versa.
Now, I know I'm pretty bad in the wet. You're not too bad. You're pretty decent in the wet.
I would definitely say I'm better in the wet than the dry. As we watched Mohamed Guna did invalidate a lap, went for a second lap and spun in the first chicane, which is easily done on this track, isn't it? Cutting that second right-hander.
I think there's a couple of places that are quite easily where you are quite vulnerable to a spin. Like I said, turns 1 and 2, you've got the long right-hander in sector 3. If you hit the curb or get on the throttle too much, it really offsets the car.
It's an interesting track for curbs because you can really get the car hooked on some of the curbs. So take a bit more speed into the corners, hook it on the curb, and it will sort of drag the car around the corner, which allows you to take more speed into the corner. And out of the corner, but at the same time, those same curbs will bite you, and probably turn you around a bit too much at times.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful. Also, the final corner, that's another one, obviously, because it's such a low speed, and on this car, low speeds, the cars aren't great. They do tend to wheel spin quite a lot, especially in the lower gears.
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
That depends on the assists you're running as well.
You see, Kenner went for a second lap, but he did invalidate. I didn't see where, but he invalidated on that one. But you have got James Nay on a lap, who's a 10th and a half up at the moment.
I think we'll stick on board with him as he's coming to the long right-hander as well, isn't he? I think Mohammed's just doing laps and invalidating on purpose just so he doesn't actually set a time.
Okay.
Obviously, CZM doing the right thing though, but retiring in the pit lane. Interesting.
Good last sector from James Nay there. Good lines in the last 2 corners.
It is, and he keeps his car left. It's looking like a I thought it was going to be a 130 then. It's 131.3. It's not quite pole.
Very close.
But he is close.
And he has gone purple in the last sector as well.
There's definitely room for improvement in the first 2 by the seams of things, but yeah, anyone can take it. Still.
Yeah, he was 2/10 quicker than Kenner was in that last sector. Looking at it.
Just watching Jen Serino now. This is going to be his first lap that he's set tonight, and it's just good enough for P3. It's a decent lap for his first one.
That is. It's a very good opening lap. You just want to get that banker lap on the board, don't you? It just fills you with confidence to go out there and push for your last couple of laps.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you got a time on the board, just so if anything does go wrong on them faster push laps, you've already got a time set and it's a decent enough one.
Exactly, something to fall back on. As we see, Always Grinding is 3.5 tenths up and purple to the first sector, so this could be a good one to watch.
It could be. Let's ride on board with him as he comes up to the chicane. It's interesting as well, the braking points in this this track. I've noticed some people brake a lot later than they should. Because I've noticed on with the new RaceNet feature, I've noticed I brake at the start, you know, like the first turn.
Yeah.
I brake a lot later than everyone else that has a faster time than me.
Yeah, see, I've been finding I've been braking early at the first turn to turn in earlier and get a lot more speed coming out of it, but it's all about compromise where you giving it up to gain.
Yeah, there's quite a few turns where I'm braking probably later than I should, always grinding to P4 after setting that purple sector. So it's not
Only
a bad
just
lap.
behind Genserino, that is very close between the two of them.
I think it's going to be a battle to watch maybe in the race as well. So we got Neil Mosers on a lap. Is he on a lap? No, his ERS lights are on.
I think he's down on his lap. Yeah, he's coming in.
So Mohammed's back out on track, and he hasn't set. He is about to set a first time, which shouldn't be allowed, even if it is a 153.
Although his time isn't showing on the left-hand side for you. I don't know about me.
It's not, but it was a valid lap.
Yes, he did cross the line. It was showing it as valid, but it hasn't popped up on the leaderboard.
I'm not sure what's going on. I'll have to see if it comes back up in the next 4 minutes.
If I go under race director, he's done a 1:53.415, which was an invalidated lap time.
It's showing as invalidated on there, is it?
Yeah.
It's quite strange that the map didn't come up red when he crossed the line.
No.
Or before he crossed the line.
That's what I thought.
Strange. Sen, invalid. We've got a couple of cars now coming out to try and get round.
He's going on to a lap now.
Yeah, we've got a few. Let's have a look. Sen.
Yeah, you will have Kenner coming round to start his lap soon as well in the other half.
He's going to try and improve that time.
As Jason invalidates.
That's unfortunate for Jason. He's got enough time to go around and set another lap. Obviously, cut in the corner there just to get to the line a bit quicker.
Yeah, it's definitely an invalidation now, mate.
If it wasn't before, it definitely is now. So it's right on board with Kenner as he crosses the line to start his lap. We're right on board with him for this, as he brakes very late. Stays in 5th, just to try and keep as much traction as possible in them rear wheels. An interesting choice, actually, because there's multiple ways now with these cars to actually keep traction without using higher gears.
There is, you're right. He's marginally up in Sector 1.
Can he keep it? You can see the cloud cover, so there's a lot of clouds at the minute. It's not going to be any rain in the next 2 minutes, as you can tell, but if the clouds keep getting worse for the race, who knows, it could be a heavy downpour and we'll have to delay it by an hour.
I think we're safe than that.
Say again?
I think we're safe than that.
Yeah, fortunately the FAA let us do some wet weather driving on this game.
Yeah, we're a bunch of reckless organisers and we just send the drivers out no matter what the weather. Tough luck for them. they crash and die.
I reckon we should wait for a storm and then like do a 24-hour event at Bucknell Park in the goat karts.
As that was a lovely commentary on board lap of Kenna there.
It was. It had nothing to do with Kenna's lap at all as he improves. 130.9.
Just under 2-tenth improvement. That's a great lap from Kenna there. It does look like the clouds are coming over as well, somewhat. So
it does.
This forecast for the race becoming a bit more accurate.
As we've got Sen, who is marginally up, just like Kenna was, coming into that long right-hander in Sector 3. He is on a lap, and it is valid at the minute. Still valid coming out of the right-hander. A very tricky corner this, very easy to lose traction. He takes it a little bit deep, but that corner has multiple lines that carries enough speed to set a decent time still. Down to the long left-hander, down to second. I think he could have took that corner a little better. It was kind of a slow line he took through there. Coming across the line on the right-hand side of the track. He's 4 tenths up, so that's good. He stays in P10 though. Who else have we got?
Big gap to jump up to, but it's a good lap nonetheless. He's not far off the back of the pack.
Oh, James Ney.
Yeah, improves, not far off. Kenna either with that lap.
He's always grinding on an invalid lap, not going to make it to the line to set another lap. We got the McLaren of Truck Fireman, who's 5 tenths up on his best time at the minute, which is a 134, so I don't think he's going to improve enough to go up above Seddon. We've got Team Red, who is down on his last time. Neil Moser has just crossed the line, and it was invalid. King James has gone round. Where is he? Sector 1, just before the DRS straight. So it's interesting qualifying. I think that's it in terms of time set.
Yeah, I think Team Red is marginally down, but there's room for improvement in the last sector.
And there's rain.
He had a big moment there, and you're right, it is rain.
Is this going to stay for the race? Could be an interesting one. He's going to finish the lap, I think. Oh no, he's opted to dive into the pits. So that will be your starting order for the race. Whether it's wet or not, we're yet to see. It's just possible. We got Kenna P1, James Ney P2, Genserino P3, always grinding P4, King James P6, P5, sorry, Neil Moser P6. So 5 and 6 starting there for
forecast was for 30 mins in.
AlphaTauri. Forecast was for 30 minutes in. The rain should start to appear. Team Red in P7, Invader P8, Martian P9, Jay Seddon in P10, Truck Fireman P11, and rounding off the final two, Mohammed Guna P12 and CDM P13, both serving quali bands this evening.
Just seeing off topic, somebody shares the last Red Bull World Champion, which was Sebastian Vettel, won his first world title, the last round in Abu Dhabi in 2010, and in 2011 he won his second title in Japan. Well, Verstappen won his first title in 2021 at Abu Dhabi, the last round. Second title in Japan, 2022.
Yes, it's interesting.
Yeah, it would be a coincidence, wouldn't it?
It would. And
strange how these things work. Anyway, back to the more important stuff. OBF1. Let's be honest, nobody cares about F1.
No,
We care about OBF1.
OBF1's washed since they got rid of Massey.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't have got rid of him. What a great race director. Pulled a safety car in just so they can get one last lap of racing. Who would have thought of that? Great. It actually was great.
Well, the only thing he did wrong, he was just a bit late bringing in the few, getting the cars that they did to unlap themselves. So you should have just put them to the back.
Yeah.
You could have done either one of those. It'd have been fine.
I mean, he could have even red flagged it and had a few racing laps left. Not the ideal situation, but got all these things he could have done. He still got a lap of racing.
How are these guys so fast?
Anyway, we've obviously got over Abu Dhabi 2021 as F1 fans.
That's true. Lewis has said, how are these guys so fast? Practice, I suppose. The more you practice, the quicker you get.
Ask them, I don't know.
I mean, if you stick around for a tier 1 later, you'll see me at the back.
Go even slower.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So
Actually, to be fair, I'll probably join you at the back because I'll bottle qualifying as I always do.
I never just call it. I never set a quali time. That's fast enough. Then I always get. Oh, I was gutted. Austria was gutting for me. Both times I had amazing starts.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a great sprint race comeback. That was mega.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was a good watch as well, to be fair.
Yeah. It was just like a highlights reel of overtaking every lap.
Literally, it was great.
Well, when you got nothing to lose, your back's up against the wall, go for it.
Exactly. So we're going to get underway now for the formation lap. Obviously, broadcast just to get it done a little bit quicker. And make sure these drivers have tyre temps. Interesting choice of tyre, I think, the softs. Obviously, truck fireman and Team Red opting for them. What would be your ideal strategy around here?
Softs aren't the way to go, really. It's a lot of overheating, a lot of tyre wear, a lot of forces going through the tyres. So in a fully dry race, you want to go mediums or hards, really, I would say. But if the rain's going to come pretty soon, it could be a good shout.
It could be, but apparently the rain's not coming in for 30 minutes in, so it's going to be near the end again.
Alternatively, you might do a 2-stop until that point and be quicker up to that point, and then when the rain comes, you're on a better, less worn tyre than somebody else, perhaps. You never really know.
That is true.
Multiple factors.
But we have now got the lights going. I can't really see it because of the timing board, but they are out, and every time the lights go out and the drivers don't go. But Kenner gets off to a great start. He goes over to the right to cover James Ney and will keep the lead into turn 1. There's a few position swapping going on in the back, but relatively clean through the first 2 turns.
Very clean the first couple of corners there.
And Kenner already got a 1 second lead. Already. That's... And Kenner, obviously, his time trial time is insane around here.
Always grinding his round. In the back, he's just got on the power a little bit early and lit the rear wheels up there. No damage. But that was probably one of the cleanest starts we've had for Tier 2. That was absolutely brilliant racing from all of these boys.
It was absolutely fantastic. I got a bit of a distraction. Someone came into my room, so I had to dispose of them.
Dispose of them. Do you want a spare body bag?
If you've got one, yeah, please.
Yeah, I do have one going spare actually, mate. I have washed it from the last one. But, yeah.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. As long as it's washed.
Anyway, back to the racing. I was watching. Unfortunately for his grinding, he did get a great start, but Team Red in the Mercedes got an absolutely lightning start. He launched off of that line like an absolute rocket ship. I don't know what these guys are running in terms of what traction control settings or anything, but yeah, Team Red had a mega start off the line. Sailed up the inside of quite a few cars, and that's why he's up 4 positions on the start.
And he is running the soft tyres as well, so he is on the quicker tyre at the minute.
That's probably why he got such a great launch. There's somebody's round at the back there.
I think that was Jason, I think.
It was, you're right. So one Haas heading the field, and one Haas bringing the rear of the field up.
That's going to be unfortunate. He's going to hope there's he can catch up eventually. Obviously, Jason is a pretty quick driver anyway, so the only problem he's got is he is on the slower tyre.
Yeah, absolutely. As Kenner looks like he's trying to drive off into Tier 1.
But if he carries on driving like this, he will.
That's a 3-second lead in 2 laps nearly, which is, yeah, pretty dominant pace. CDM and Mosh exchange positions a bit further down in the mid-pack.
CDM out of battery already though. You can just see his ERS lights flashing a little bit then. And if we look on board, he has got a very low battery. There's Invader and Mohammed fighting. Mohammed running very deep, going off the track. Don't know if there was a warning there for track limits. Don't know if he came off the throttle enough to avoid that warning. Kenner setting another fastest lap. So Kenner is flying today. We've got Mohammed.
He's on it like Sonic today. There's no stopping him as things stand.
Yeah, Mohammed looked for the inside of Team Red coming into turn 1, but thought better of it, so he's gonna try again at another point. But we got CDM on the back of Truck Fireman. Obviously the mediums v softs, McLaren v Alpine. CDM getting a much better exit, and there's a little bit of contact between the two, but they're both still in it. No damage, I don't think. Definitely a warning there for Truck Fireman due to track limits, but CDM's used all his battery and he's got none on the straights, and now Mosh is looking to make a move on the inside of the chicane. He makes a move off, tries it on the McLaren as well.
On full fuel on the second lap.
Bit of contact. There's a lot of contact between the McLaren and the Red Bull.
Just couldn't get on the power, could he? Mosh coming out of the corner, running off the track. That's a bit unfortunate, but I was, while we were watching that enthralling battle, just checking the race director. Truck Fireman has 2 track limit warnings already, as does King James. Both on 2 warnings.
King James, we know King James is a decent driver. I think he's at the battling for one of these. I think the second spot, isn't it, in the stand-ins? I think he is. I could be
certainly
mistaken.
Up there in the top 4. As you see, CDM pushing Truck Fireman around the second to last corner there. Oh, a little bit of contact back again. Truck Fireman not coming back, and CDM looks like he's getting a bit aggressive with the McLaren.
Well, there has been a little bit of nudging for that McLaren for the last lap, and Mosh just gets past the McLaren as well.
Oh, as Neil Mozza has a look, but gets T-boned by Mohammed Guna, who puts him round.
That's a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting, gained 1 place for CDM.
I'm guessing, look at that, was that final corner where he got pushed wide, he made the overtake off the track, and he's just decided to
keep the
stick
place.
his foot in it, otherwise he would have lost positions, which makes sense.
Well, that is true. As we're looking at the stand-ins now, there's only Invader and Truck Fireman within a second, so I think we're going to stick with these two. Oh, I like always grindings there as well in the background, but Invader for Mercedes, as Truck gets a wobble on.
Oh, he's got a big wobble on and he's round.
And there was a bit of contact as well between him and the Ferrari. I think the Ferrari just not expecting Invader to stop there. Did Invader just give him that position then?
Did rather look like it. Whether he got an illegal overtake or anything.
He was in front, wasn't he, I think? So
I don't know.
It's a bit strange, but
I didn't catch the whole sequence, but yeah, sure we will find out in time, nonetheless. But it is the closest battle on tracks at the moment. Everybody seems to have gapped each other. King James has come back into DRS range of Team Red, so I hesitate looking at that, but King James is probably running a bit more downforce. Team Red seem to lose a bit down the back straights maybe, but
he could
maybe it was a mistake.
Looks like he's used quite a bit of battery. I thought I seen the RS light, but I looked at the dash and he does have quite a bit, to be fair, so it's going to be interesting to see if King James can get Team Red down the straight.
It's just not close enough, is he? And you see, yeah, even with DRS, the Mercedes is pulling away.
Yeah, so King James
Nice.
definitely running a high downforce setup here, or even a medium.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see through the chicane how much he's gaining on braking and
It
traction.
is, but we got 3 wide into the chicane almost, with Sen getting past Invader and always grinding, and that's put him back up to P9. It was a great move by Sen, and sorry to interrupt you.
Absolutely, not at all. That's what you do best.
It is. That's the Welsh's finest thing in the world.
Interrupting.
But King James now on the back of Team Red.
It's not commonly what the Welsh are known for, but we won't go into that.
Oh, we can if we want. You know, Ralph's still kicking. With the
I think
DRS.
perhaps we ought to focus on King James, who is only 3/10 behind Team Red, and looking to make an overtake, but it's going to be difficult with those higher wings.
Yeah, I think that low rings that Team Red's running is just enough to keep that AlphaTauri behind him, especially in the straights. The Mercedes starts to pull slightly. As we got Sen making a move on Mohammed Gunnar as well into the second corner. King James gets himself a 3-second time penalty, so he's obviously pushing as much as possible to try and get past Team
very
Red.
close here to the Mercedes. He might be looking at making a move. He's using his battery, but that Mercedes just pulls away from him down the straight. He can't. This is holding King James up quite a bit. You can see this now.
It is, and he goes quite aggressive into the chicane, obviously not giving himself the best exit coming out of it.
And this is going to be the issue. If you run too much downforce, you could end up getting stuck behind somebody.
Just as we're seeing now with King James. We have got always grinding on the back of Invader. We'll keep an eye on that gap, but he is pretty close at the minute.
I mean, the one thing that you can do though with high downforce, you're going to look after the tyres better. So as your tyre wear goes down, you're only going to become quicker and quicker in the corners compared to those around you on lower wings. So it's going to start becoming easier to make a move as he's pushing the Mercedes around that last corner.
That's that.
Going to try for it again down the start-finish straight, but there is a massive offset in the wings here.
Yeah, as Mohammed Gunar's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not what you want to be doing. Yeah, you could tell that the Mercedes has just got it in terms of the lack of drag.
Yeah, and this is where it becomes frustrating because it becomes barely impossible, or basically impossible to pass then.
No, but this battle is helping Genserino and CDM, who are battling themselves, to catch up. And that could give one of the two a greater chance of an overtake. As Truck Fireman now has got a 3-second time penalty. Always grinding. Possible chance of an overtake coming down the DRS straight. He's going to look to the inside on the Mercedes as we come up to the braking zone. And he's pulled in front of the Mercedes. We've made that move nice and cleanly. That was a great overtake there from always grinding on the straight. But as we look back,
absolutely. As I was watching CDM and Genserino, CDM very close going into the chicane. He was much quicker and actually alongside Genserino coming out. He got a much better run, but he just couldn't get him. It just didn't have enough battery saved for the next run up to the flat-out right-hander.
Yeah, we do know that CDM likes to use his battery up at the start.
Team Red's in the pit.
So obviously them soft tyres have worn out now, and it's going to be interesting to see what tyre he goes on. As we know there's rain coming, it's just a matter of when.
Absolutely, as that does release King James, so let's see what sort of lap times he can now produce. Whether he can start closing in on James now, whether he's got the pace, we'll have to see. But he can certainly go for the overcut on the Mercedes now.
Yeah, that's definitely an option for him. He's got CDM and Genserino battling behind, slowing them two down, so he's not going to really be too bothered at the minute with them two behind. As we have a yellow flag in Sector 1, that's a slow-moving car. I'm not sure
Team
which one
Red,
it is.
Maybe?
I think it was Neil Moser.
Okay.
Not really sure what happened there. But we're back now with CDM and Genserino. As CDM struggling to get past Genserino. He's got the run on him now, though. as they come up to the for the medium kind of right-hander.
Yeah, it was similar what they did last lap round. But you can just see that Gensarino has the edge on him in the downforce department, which has a bit less wing on that Alfa Romeo. And CDM, even with a good exit, just hasn't saved enough of his battery to actually use it tactically and where he needs. Like now, he needs to be saving it.
And he's not going to, though. We all know CDM. I think CDM's best option was to forget about burning his ERS like he normally does and just use it wisely.
Yeah, exactly. Just use it where you're not likely to make an overtake. You don't need it. The DRS will drag you along and keep you up speed, and then get a nice exit onto the longer straight, and then just burn it all in one go.
That's true. We got truck firemen now diving into the pits as well to get off them soft tyres. That's promoted a couple of drivers up a few positions. But CDM definitely finding it difficult to overtake at the minute.
Absolutely, but Gensarino's got more battery. It's just and he's running lower wings, which is helping. Not as big a offset as we saw earlier on with the Mercedes of Team Red, but enough nonetheless. And this is where CDM's strongest, through that chicane and coming out of it, and he needs to save the battery. And if he can save the battery for that moment, I think he can get him. Is he maybe looking to go at the inside here? That's going to be a brave move.
He is trying it. He's left the space, but he still can't make it work.
Yeah, it's good racing from Gensarino. He's left the space, but taken the line that he wants still.
Yeah, and that's just kept him ahead. But CDM is going for the outside now through the penultimate corner.
Which is going to be the inside for the right-hander. That's a good move.
And he's got in front. But will Gensarino get him? CDM still got the DRS, luckily, because he overtook so late. But then he's got
the detection points before the left-hander, so he's timed that just about right. He's used that extra grip he's got.
But now he's got to worry about that long straight and defending from Gensarino. Obviously, with Gensarino with the less drag, it's going to be a little bit difficult to defend on the straight.
Yeah, but look at the gap he's pulled in the first chicane alone. And this section, this is the key bit. Is this sector, it comes right before the DRS zone. And look at the gap, he's out of a second already.
Yeah.
Extra downforce, extra grip, and you're able to pull that gap before the DRS zone, so...
CDM just luckily getting out of that DRS then to keep him ahead of Gensarino. Gensarino's going to want to try and...
CDM's had a wiggle on and lost it!
Oh, that's unfortunate.
All that hard work and effort, and he just loses the back end ever so slightly, but it was enough to let Gensarino back past. He had the work done.
CDM, there isn't a pit wall there. What are you doing?
So he's got fireman's round in the first sector. Kenner's into the pits.
So Kenner is giving up his lead to pit. So is he going to opt for the soft and wait for the rain, or is he going for the hard tyres?
James Nay in as well. As is King James.
So the top three
is pitting.
All pitting. Gensarino opting not to, I believe.
Oh, and there's been contact between Gensarino and CDM. I just caught the last part of that. I didn't see what happened. It looked like CDM was going around the outside of Gensarino, but ended up coming off worse. I didn't see exactly what happened, whose fault it was, but I'm sure that'll be one for the stewards' room.
100%. Especially if CDM lost quite a lot of positions in it as well, based on what I'm seeing.
Absolutely, perhaps a bit of frustration showing from both drivers. It has been a long, hard race for them both.
That is true, and obviously it's not over yet. We're only on lap 11 of 27, so there's still a while to go yet.
Absolutely. All is not lost. Especially if the rain does come at the end of the race.
That's true, but let's talk about Kenner a second. He pulled up a massive gap, and that massive gap has allowed him to stay in second place even after a pit stop.
Yeah, and he's hunting down Gensarino, isn't he?
He is, and obviously Genserino's tyres aren't going to be at the drop-off just yet, but a 10-lap old is certainly going to be slower than them new hards.
Certainly, yeah. Tyre wear is very high on this track.
It's quite insane how bad the tyre wear is around here, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of high load corners thing. Even if you go to the, you think of the low speed corners, how many are there? There's really very few. You've got the hairpin going on to there's the very last corner, and then just the end of that first sector, a couple of tight corners. But bar that, everything else is high speed or at least medium to high speed.
Well, that's true. And we get Sen making a great move on the inside. Into turn 1 on Mosh. Let's drop Mosh down to P4.
Ken is having a look at Genserino as well.
Obviously, I know Ken is running low downforce and Genserino is running moderately.
Yeah, Ken just having the patience just to hang fire for the DRS zone.
It's a smart move, and he's going to make the pass well before the braking zone, which will cement him into P1.
No point rushing him. Genserino's in a different race to him. No point losing your front wing over battling.
That's only going to ruin your race and potentially lose him the race win.
Absolutely. He's got a big gap to the guys behind that he needs. The next guy that's in effective P2 is James Nay down in 7th.
Yeah, James Nay's had a pretty quiet race. Obviously, he made his pit stop last lap around. Being pretty quiet though so far for him.
Yeah, he's 11.5 seconds off of Kenner. Kenner definitely putting in his CV for Tier 1, I think, tonight.
Maybe even the esports at this point.
Wow. So about that.
We got truck fireman opting to retire to the pit lane. So
I think even Little Jim and Mitch and me will struggle against esports. They're in a different world.
Yeah, I don't understand how they do it, to be honest.
No. Well, you saw how Mitch fared up against TRL Limitless, and he can't even compete properly with esports.
Yeah, that's true. Jason now trying to look at to make a move on Genserino as they come down to the long straight with the DRS. Is he going to be able to make a pass as easy as Kenner did? Doesn't look like he's going to get it done as quickly, but he still gets it done just before the chicane. So
Genserino being very sensible there, not fighting it.
Yeah,
not his race.
Haas 1-2 at the minute, but obviously
something I never thought anyone would say ever.
The Welshman has said it and spoken, but obviously Sen still has to pit, and we've still got that possibility of rain. Don't forget, which could spice things up even more in the latter stages of the race.
Absolutely. I mean, the question is it going to get wet enough for inters or wets even, or is it just going to stay dry but with a few dribbles of rain, or is it just going to stay dry all the way?
I mean, we've seen it before. I can't remember what race it was, but it started raining, but it just didn't get wet. I think it was Imola, wasn't it? No, it was a race. It started raining, and it just wasn't wet enough to go onto the inters at all.
I'm not sure. Could have been.
I'm not sure if it was
since then.
I'm not sure if it was this season or last, but there was one race, and I'm pretty sure it was these cars, so I'm pretty sure it was this season. We got King James on the back of Team Red yet again. So King James not being able to make the overcut work. And he's stuck behind Team Red yet again. But looks like he's got a move. He's got the better line coming onto the straight. He's gonna... Team Red goes right to the left to defend. There's a bit of weaving from Team Red, but not too much. But King James going around the outside in the chicane, manages to pull a move off on the outside. He got the inside line before the exit, which helped him a little bit. And now he's got Invader to make a move on. Mosh, though, is currently sitting in P4 and staying right behind Gensarino. Mosh is having a pretty decent race, considering where he started. I'm pretty sure he started, well, he's up 5 places already, so... Well, I say already, it's been 14 laps, but he's up 5 places, which is pretty decent. Where are we? Tyres. Mosh just not being able to... He had a look on the inside there for turn 1. Thought better of it. Obviously, it's a bit too far back to make a lunge. But he's still fighting. And he wants that position off Gensarino. They've been on these tyres for the same amount of time. It's just who can handle the wear better now at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mosh trying to use DRS to get past Gensarino. He's ruling him in ever so slightly, but struggling to get it done. As what's happened to Invader? He's gone round.
Invader has gone round, and I'm noticing the clouds in the sky are getting thicker and thicker. Slowly, but they're still getting thicker.
Bit like my intelligence on a daily basis.
Well, if yours is getting thicker and thicker, what's mine doing? Because I don't know, I blame being dropped on my head, but the less said about that, the better.
I did actually drop my baby girl on her head.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was trying to put her down in her Moses basket when she was like 2 months old, and she slipped. It was only gentle, but you know, I did drop her on her head.
At least it wasn't in B&Q, like...
So yeah, if, I'm going to use that against her forever, so if she ever does anything stupid when she's older, which, let's be honest, she's my offspring, it's going to happen, I'm going to say, well, I did drop you on your head, Bear.
Luckily that wasn't used against me.
Yeah.
But we got Invader coming off the hard tyres now.
Yeah, he got himself a speeding penalty coming in the pit lane. Just to compound his misery.
That is true. There's quite a big gap now between...
Nice battle shaping up for 8th.
There is. I just joined it now. We got Mohamed Guna in the Ferrari, Gensarino, and Always Grinding. We've seen Alpine v Alpine before. Not Alpine v Alpine. Alpine v Alfa Romeo earlier on in the race. So we're seeing it again now. Different drivers. But the original driver is not far behind as well.
Well, we know Gensarino's running reasonably low downforce from earlier, and you can see it. He's pulling a gap from the Alpine behind on the straight, but he was struggling in the tight and twisty leading up to the straight. And you can see again how much he's losing out in that middle chicane. So low downforce not helping him out there. And this is going to make it. This makes it very interesting. There's so many different downforce levels you can run. It varies so much. Makes it fascinating.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about this game more than the last. Obviously, the last game people are running roughly the same, but this one is varies, especially on tracks like this.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing is, as we saw earlier, it does kind of ruin it a little bit if you are so much quicker than a car ahead, but they're running so much less downforce. Unless you absolutely send it in the corner, it becomes very, very difficult to pass.
That is true.
And can kind of ruin a race for you. On the whole, I do agree, because I think it allows for better racing, because some people can run lower downforce and makes them a bit more potent in the race. You know, and generally slower in qualifying, so you be further back in qualifying, but in the race you're going to be a rocket ship down the straight.
That's true. This battle, though, for 8th has just become a battle for 7th, with Mosh coming out of the pits ahead of Mohamed Guna. Gensarino Now trying to get past on the straight, but they're running roughly the same amount of downforce. I think Always Grinded had a little luck, but probably wiser not to go 3 wide into that chicane. And that's Genserino up into P8, and now he's going to be chasing down Mosh.
Yeah, I think quite crucially though, that battling kept them off the back of Mosh while he had just fresh out the pits on cold tyres. He all of a sudden he was vulnerable, but while that battling was going on, it just allowed him that little break to warm his tyres up and try and pull or stay ahead basically. As Always Grinding goes up the inside of Mohammed Guna, and it's a little bit late, or a day late and a dollar short, as Martin Brundle would say. It was a good effort, and I thought he was going to make it stick, but just didn't quite, I'm afraid. And unfortunately, the silly side pod glitch in this game still exists. If you're on the inside, it just spins you.
Now we got CDM attempting a move. He's going to go around the outside in turn 1. He's going to give him the inside for turn 2, but can he make it stick? He tries a little switchback kind of thing, but it doesn't work for him. Mohammed looking very loose on the curbs though. And that CDM still behind for now. Mohammed just getting probably a warning there. He did go over the track limits a bit, but CDM getting a penalty for it.
Which I believe is his second penalty. We'll have to check that in a minute, but you can see Mohammed Guna is an absolute rocket ship in the straights. And I think that's going to play devil's advocate for CDM here. You can see with DRS, he's just not gaining on him.
No, and he's got no battery. Mohammed doesn't either, but he's just got the lack of drag, which is helping him.
Oh, and then Mohammed Guna gets a penalty as well. That was a big cut coming into that chicane.
I'm just going to mute myself a second.
Absolutely, as we see King James coming up onto the back of Team Red as well, which this is going to be an interesting battle. So King James was trying to go for the overcut earlier, but it didn't work. Team Red has got back ahead, and we were having this battle earlier with the downforce levels. King James couldn't get past, but now he's on even more fresh tyres. Can he make the move? Is he going to struggle again? Is he going to get himself stuck? We'll have to see.
It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, he's got that penalty as well, so he wants to get ahead and pull away.
Yeah, I think if he gets ahead, he'll have the pace.
It's just, can he get ahead again?
Yeah, it's just that Mercedes too slippery in a straight line. Again, something I never thought I'd say in 2022.
Yeah, Mercedes, well, they've had a bit of a mare this season. But at least in the virtual world, they're not doing too bad. Currently sitting in P3. Obviously, they got invaded down in P12, though. But Team Red, he is having a decent race compared to what he normally does. He has improved in his pace a lot recently.
Absolutely, he's spent the whole race looking in his mirrors at an AlphaTauri, to be fair. So he's been driving very well. He has been defending well. I know those low wings are helping him massively, but he is driving it well in the corners just to position the car and get the exits he needs. But King James might have the run there. I thought he was going to have a move on him. I think
he almost did. To be fair, he almost did. I mean, they got Jason with fresh mediums right behind now as well to worry about.
Absolutely, and that could add a bit of spice into the mix.
That's true. We got Team Red though defending the inside nicely, just placing his car where he needs to.
And if you wanted confirmation, Joe Seddon was captain this back. There you have it, fastest lap of the race so far.
And now right behind, and he's going to look to make a move. I thought he was going to look to make a move. Just cutting the track slightly there is definitely going to be a warning, but he still hasn't got a penalty yet. Neil Moser has left the session, but he hasn't DNF'd. So that's a disconnection there.
Yeah, it does look like it. Riding on board with Mosh, who's about to overtake him, and yeah, it looks like Neil Moser's disconnected.
Nothing be said in the chat though. So far, he might say something soon.
I've got to say though, I'm looking at the gap between Kenner and James Nay, 16.5 seconds. That's impressive, but Will Kenner be tempted to pit for softs to go for fastest lap, depending on what the weather's doing? Because at the moment, with 6-7 laps to go, it is overcast, but nothing seems to be coming in very quickly.
Nice.
And I think he will pit. He will definitely be behind James Neighbour on fresh softs. He'll set fastest lap and get past. That gets him an extra point. He probably doesn't need it, but would he be tempted? Would you be tempted?
I would be tempted, but I think off the chance that there could be some rain might deter me a little bit. Obviously, the race started.
But then equally, if rain comes in quite slowly or anything like that, your fresher softs are going to be quicker in the rain than older hards.
That's true, and obviously we had Neil Monster saying it was predicted half hour into the race that the rain would come. We have passed the half hour mark by only a few minutes, but
Have you got your stopwatch out?
I have not. I've just got the YouTube live stream and I was just backtracking a little bit.
Jay Seddon got past King James. I must have missed that. But he's going to make a move on Team Red as well. Those fresh mediums really working well for him.
Yeah, that extra grip as well that he's going to get is just going to keep him ahead on the exit. Obviously, Team Red's downforce levels are supreme on corner exit, but obviously the grip that Seddon's got from them fresh mediums just helped him keep ahead, and he will potentially end this race on the podium.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing. You remember back to the start of this race, what did I say? I said we got one Haas heading up the field and one Haas bringing up the rear. Now we got two Haas's on the podium and we've had no safety car.
That's true.
Hats off to Jay Shedden. That's been an incredible comeback through the field. Cracking pace, great strategy. He's making it work for him.
That's one for YouTube, I reckon.
One for
PlayStation powered
YouTube,
itself
absolutely.
off. Can I get another invite back in the lobby?
Right, so we've got Neil Morrison saying PlayStation powered itself off. Can I get another invite back into the lobby? But are we allowing invites again back into the race? Will it affect the
considering
lobby?
he's been in,
I could try it. We could try it. Ask quickly. Can you send him an invite so I can keep an eye on the action since I'm streaming?
You'll have to give me his PSN because I haven't actually got it added, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, it's on the thing, so it's Neil Moser 94, capital N, capital
Doesn't
M.
matter with capitals.
Huh?
Doesn't
Not
matter
our
with
stiff,
capitals,
not cause
I
my
think it is.
strategy's fucked anyway.
Mozer with two Zs.
Yes, that's it. Two Zs and then a 94.
No. Must be the same age as me, 94.
There's a possibility.
Jay Seddon gets himself a time penalty.
He did get himself a time penalty. He got it as I clicked pause to go and send an invite, and then realised that I'm the one streaming.
Yeah. But well, at the moment he's got the pace to pull the gap, so hopefully he doesn't drop it. Otherwise that'll be a podium thrown away because at the moment he hasn't got the gap, but he is pulling it quite comfortably. King James still stuck behind Team Red. I have a feeling he could be there for the rest of the race.
That's true, and I think at this point, if the rain does come, there's no point really pitting for slicks unless it's heavy.
Oh, having said that, King James has gone around the outside of Team Red in the last corner. That's a fantastic move, that was. Beautifully placed the car in the braking zone. He's got DRS, so he's able to hold on into his first turn. He could be in for it here. And
Yeah,
that is the reverse of the commentator's curse, right there, lads.
it is possible. You've seen it here first. As he gets himself another time penalty, that's not going to help.
6 seconds to pull. And it is starting to cloud over now.
It is. We've seen one of the lights on, actually, which I don't think I've actually seen around France before. But you can see the street, like the lamps, they are on. Not that we're going to have a night race here at any point, but...
God, look at the gap. Team Red pulls half a second on King James down that straight.
That Mercedes.
But then Team Red pulls 3/10 in the chicane.
That's true.
If King James can break that DRS, he can start pulling a gap. I think it's going to be hard fought to get 6 seconds now. I think 3 seconds might have been doable if he could break that DRS, but And this is his best chance, the last sector.
That's true, because CDM still fighting with Genserino. It's these two fighting again as well down in P8 and 9. Can't... That Genserino's seen that Alpine for a bit too long now, I think.
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of rubbing between these two guys as well.
CDM looks like he's just getting the better line in the penultimate, but has he got the better exit? It's going to be close. He does have the DRS, remember, though, so he could look to make a move, but I think he's just staying behind. He had a little look, but...
Just not saved his battery and hasn't got the low downforce that Genserino has.
No, that's really going to slow him down when it comes to it, really, isn't it? That the amount of drag that Alpine has compared to the Alfa Romeo could be the decider between these two, although CDM, they both got penalties. What is the penalty situation between them? CDM with 6, Genserino only with 3. As Mohamed Guna just gets himself a second speed in the pit lane penalty.
Yeah, he's up to 11 seconds now.
That
which is quite the tally.
That does take some doing. Which is
Kenneth AT1 driver in disguise.
I think the highest I've ever seen anyone get, I believe, was 41 seconds around Monaco before they got disqualified. And that was on an older game. I think that was 2020. I must admit, I was rather impressed.
Yeah, that would impress me as well, to be honest. I'm slightly inclined to agree with Mitch what he said in the YouTube chat. He's Kenna, a tier 1 driver in disguise, currently with nearly a 20-second gap. Currently sitting at
I don't know what you're on about,
19.3.
mate. It's clearly tier 2 pace. Look at him.
But
he's only got a 20-second lead.
As we got CDM now on the outside, sorry, for turn 1. Is he going to be able to make the move?
Send it on the brakes.
He has
Certainly
sent
does.
it. He has got the lead. Pushes Genserino a little wide. I think that was more optional from Genserino actually to go wide than getting pushed wide.
Yeah, I think he was going there anyway, but CDM did chop his nose off a bit, but to be honest, I think it was all fair in love and war on that one for me.
Just good hard racing there from the two.
Absolutely. CDM had to send it. Once he got alongside, he had to send it, as we see always grind and go for another spin at the end of the first sector.
Genserino around the outside, getting the inside line for the exit of the chicane. It's getting extremely cloudy now, very dark. But still no sign of rain as of yet. I
think it's going to miss us.
I think some of these drivers will be quite happy that they haven't seen any raindrops yet, because now they know they can go to the end on these slicks and not have to worry about managing their throttle even more.
CDM's going to line up another move going into the second to last corner. He's going to send it around the outside and they make contact, and both around.
I'm not sure who's at fault for that.
I think I'd have to watch a replay of that.
Yeah.
CDM definitely made contact with the side of Genserino, which spun them both, but was Genserino wandering off to the right, trying to get the car turned in? The problem is you're braking and turning at the same time, and it is easy to run wide into that corner.
Yeah, obviously we didn't get the best angle to see who was at fault there. I don't know what view you were looking at, but I know the view the game gave me wasn't the best to see who was at fault.
Yeah, I was riding on board with CDM at the time. Difficult to tell. I think it'd be one for the stewards. Wait, that's us, isn't it?
Well, test me and Jim look at them, and then you guys look at the right to reviews in a minute. That's how.
And then I tell you you're wrong and overpower your rule.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, fair enough. Sorry about that, mate.
It's alright. That's how a team works.
Absolutely.
Something that has done pretty well today. He's currently sitting first and third. Oh, there's a contact between Mosh and Team Red.
Oh no.
That's very unfortunate. I think Mosh just a little bit light on the brakes, or a little bit too much of not understeer. Yeah, understeer, and just the car just really slid really into the path of that Mercedes. But CDO now on the back of Mosh. He's going to be trying to make a move. Going to try and make the move. He's looking for the outside of turn 1, but then he switches to the inside, switches back to the outside. Kind of Sebastian Vettel-esque at Spain a couple of years ago against Hamilton. But can't make the move stick like Sebastian did. And obviously...
Yeah, I was going to say this could really affect him with the extra 3 seconds over Genserino, but just before he did catch up with Mosh after Mosh had that spin, he did get an extra penalty, so... I don't think he's likely to pull 6 seconds now unless Genserino makes a mistake.
No, it's going to be highly unlikely. He's only got a few corners of the race left, so...
Speaking of which, Canna is round in the final corner.
And that is a Haas victory. Kenna's very strong this weekend, and he has crossed the line to win it at France. James Ney slowly but surely, well not slowly, but is approaching the penultimate corner, coming onto the final corner as Mohamed Guna has crossed the line as a lapped car, Neil.
And did get fastest lap as well. Won't be a point for it, but...
Can someone else take it off him, though? We've got a few drivers still to cross the line. Obviously, Seddon has now crossed it. King James coming across the line, but I think he's safe with a penalty. I think. Team Red with a great racer coming across the line with P5. CDM just managing to get past Marsh, but obviously that penalty will affect him. And that's going to be Marsh P6, CDM P7. Genserino jumps up to P7, and CDM finishes P8 with the Alpine of Always Grinding coming on in P9. P10 for Neil Moser Invader will be P11. And then obviously we had one DNF of Truck Fireman who retired in the pit lane. So all in all, that was a great race from Tier 2 really.
Just remind me how many safety cars and VSCs we had tonight, Kieran.
We had none.
Sorry, I thought you said none for a minute then.
I did.
You
had a race without a safety car or a VSC. Had a few yellow flags.
How many people have you seen lose their front wings this evening?
None, actually. Funny enough, 0 people have lost their front wings.
What a race. Well done, Tier 2. Cracking race.
It was a cracking race. It shows that it can be done.
Dan? It can be done, if you want it to be done.
It can. And obviously we see that Welsh flag on the podium as well, which makes it even better.
No. It's still behind the British boys, so, you know.
Oh, well, you know, it's the Welshman in Yorkshire, so... Imagine...
Say no more.
Yeah, it's true. Well, you know. If you see Michael Sheen's speech for the boys going to the World Cup, that will turn you Welsh. That is it. So that is it from us tonight.
What a note to end on.
It was honestly fantastic. You can join us in about 20 minutes. Well, not us, but you can join David on his channel. If you're not in the Discord, we can't send you a link. I'm gonna have to put it in the chat, in the description for next weekend. Not weekend, but next Wednesday.
Yeah, David Benson's commentary on YouTube. Just go search for it. You'll find it. It's easy. And watch Kieran Bennett in the wall and cause all the safety cars in Tier 1.
Sweet. But yeah, that is it from us. You can join us there in 20 minutes.
Get one in, didn't you?
For Tier 1. But see you. I'm still alive. I forgot to take a screenshot. Sweet.